Hello, welcome to September 2nd, 2022. Wow, I feel so much better. It's been a week, just exactly a week and a day since my surgery, and boy, am I feeling better. One of the big differences is I'm off the pain meds. Maybe that's what had me so down and, well, I wasn't feeling bad. Well, I did have my moments. I was feeling pretty bad, but I wasn't feeling good. But I deliberately decided to stop taking it last night to see how things would go, and I'm in good shape. The pain is non-existent unless I move in a weird way, and I feel my spirits are up, my energy's up. It's good. It's kind of good to be back. This is my daily good life meditation video, something I do every morning to remember my life objectives and principle, and to prepare for the coming day and think how I did yesterday. It's good. Yesterday was a wow. Man, that was another full day of work. I clobbered it though, man. And it's funny because Michael and I were corresponding. He's a project manager. Actually, he's a product manager. Lives that way in the country. And he and I compare notes sometimes over on Discord. And yesterday was one of those days. We both had days packed with meetings and kind of comparing notes to the day, rooting each other on. So it was a full day. I did overtime as well, which I'm not supposed to do by law. Yeah, it's one of the things when you work for the government, you can get in trouble if you work overtime, because I'm down a rabbit hole, but it exposes the organization to vulnerability. You can sue them for for unpaid work. So, don't tell anybody. I was working overtime, unpaid overtime. You can work overtime and get paid for it. You just can't be working on without getting paid. Anyway, it was a good day. No real challenges other than I didn't want to do each hour. So at the head of each hour, I didn't want to do it. Neither did Yumiko, and we were comparing notes all day when we encountered each other. But we made it through. Finished strong, actually. Okay, now my good life meditation. 7 objectives as follows. Number 1 is to always be ready to die. To have my life affairs and my life relationships and my life's work. I call it my fortune, my family, and my fame in order, and I do. Number 2 is to make good and effective use of time, to not let my moments drain away or just slide by, but to effectively utilize my days, and I do. We could argue over the ends, but they're the best ends that I know how to achieve, mostly in terms of broadening my horizons on a daily basis, in making myself better educated by taking on the challenging library that sits across from me here, and working to be a virtuous human being, and raising my daughter, being a good husband and father. Next, number 3 is to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. And that's what I've done in developing the good life. This creed of 7 objectives and 32 principles are the result of that effort. And I maintain them daily, primarily through living them, but secondarily through the making of this video, which helps me to refine them and make sure I touch each one of them every day. Next is to cultivate good emotional reactions, to just react well to whatever happens, to not let the days, not become lose control of my self-control, so to speak. Yeah. And then to perform good actions, just to do good things throughout the day, and then to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities, so that I'm staying between the lines, so to speak. It's okay to go outside the lines if I think I can handle it, but some things are simply beyond me. Some things are simply beyond me now. Some things were always beyond me. It's good to know where those limits are. so that I'm applying my time towards things that are actually doable for me. Next comes, and this is the last one, is to do just one thing at a time, and to do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. Yeah. All right, now my 32 principles. Number 1 is the principle of war, to always be fighting against what I think is true and what others propose to me I should believe is true. Number 2 is reason, and these are principles of honesty, objectivity, and doubt. 3 is homunculus, a reminder that I do not have a soul, but I do have a consciousness. Then comes the Anchorhold, the reminder that my little consciousness is stuck alone within me. No, I can semaphore across the void at others, gesticulating, signaling, like two people on rocks in the sea, waving at one another. I can't cross that sea. I'm always stuck alone, and I'll die on that rock, and that person will too. The next one is the principle of the home of good and evil. Good and evil do not exist in the universe as objective things all their own. They are simply results of the opinions of sentient creatures. They're ideas, and as such, they're malleable and subject to assessment of the facts. Which is tough, because that means we have to work hard at it. It would be much easier to think that good and evil were permanent and handed to us from on high. Then we don't have to do the hard work of working on them and thinking about them, right? And questioning our beliefs. If we think that they're just innate to the universe, or innate to the nature of some maker of the universe, or some manager of the universe, some God, namely, then that relieves all the responsibility. We can just read the book and follow the rules. That's a lazy approach, and it's a dangerous approach, because it means that we're not going to suffer those principles to be scrutinized for their inherent virtue or their defects, and we'll just abide them nonetheless. It's a bad way to go. It's a bad approach to the world, because it's inflexible. It's dogmatic. It's authoritarian, and those are things that I seek to avoid. Next is the principle of purpose. And I have 3 purpose in my life. One is the purpose to be a good husband and father, to get my genes successfully into the next generation, so that those genes also have the mandate of living a virtuous, purposeful life. 2 is the purpose of being a virtuous human being, where virtue is defined as the seeking the improvement of the well-being of thinking creatures. 3 is my own mission. And my mission in my life is the writing and the sharing of this book, Going Alone, which is the story of how I came to uncover and develop the Good Life Creed. Available on Amazon. I used to send it out free to everybody, but I just can't afford to do that anymore. Got a kid in college now, so but people have to buy it now. I think I sent out like 160 copies or something like that so far. I spent a lot of money on that endeavor, and it was fine before the kid was in college. But now that Emily's in college, I just every penny has to go towards the sustaining of the 3 of us through all that. So if you want a copy, you can go buy a copy on Amazon, please. Or you can buy it on the website. I'll sign it, but then you have to pay for the purchase and the shipping. So sorry, I wish I could still send them for free. The next principle is the atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces, flowing and changing. It's a reminder that we're falling apart. And then comes the principle of nature. Everything has some particular nature, including you and me. And that nature if we understand what it is, we can live better, living better in accord with that nature. And living better through recognizing the nature of others and not expecting more than that nature of them. What can we do? They're not we can't control them. We can just simply recognize they are, and work with or around, or even against that. Yeah, some natures need to be worked against. That's a heavy thought right there. Including the nature of those who accept dogmatic, axiomatic worldviews. They should be worked against. Damn it, I'm backing myself into a corner, aren't I? Forcing myself towards action. Interesting. I'll have to play with that thought later. Put that in my pocket. I got a pocket. No, put it in my pocket. Okay, next comes maturity. No, I got ahead of myself. The pirate ride. I think that's next. The pirate ride suggests that human beings don't have free will. Free will is an illusion. We are more like rivers that seem alive in their movement, but are really just following the course that the universe has laid out for them through basically everything leading up to from the Big Bang until the moment that the river courses through the canyon or across the stream. Its twists left and right are if not determined, they are dictated and by the universe around it, the shape of the mountain, the power, the strength of gravity, the interruption of objects in the riverbed, etc., etc. That's so to you and me. We have no more control than no more control of our life than the flow of a river down a stream bed. I'm more and more convinced that's true, although I can't prove it. And then comes maturity and the sub-principles of wisdom and fortitude. We are mature when we wisely remember our past failures and successes and try to do better. And then the social principle. We're social creatures. We need each other. And then public speaking. It's good to be very careful about what we say, especially in around others. I mean, I guess we can talk to ourselves, but mostly when around others, so that we are not gossiping, and being very careful with our words, using well-chosen sentences and vocabulary that is appropriate for the audience, gets the point across without being flowery or ostentatious. There's a fancy word, and it is conservative of time, which is a tough thing for me because I'm a talkative guy, but I'm not this blah 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 when I'm in meetings at work. Although I do probably do most of the talking because I'm the leader, I'm the project manager. I'm the leader. That's my job as a project manager, is to lead teams. So I typically do the most of the talking, and I'm well practiced at it. So, but I try to be very careful about what I say. All this applies to written words too. Then comes what's after maturity? I've been leaning on the book to help me to get through. Oh, the public speaking. What's after public speaking? Temperance. And temperance is our controlled consumption of everything. Food and work, drink, work and play and sex and hobbies and everything. Just in moderation. Then comes that life will not go well. A reminder to expect speed bumps along the way. Throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the life. Then the horror show, the absolute, when things just really, really go bad, and they will go bad, and they are going bad, all around us, and it's going to happen to us if it's not happening to us already. And then a principle called that which must be borne, and what we have to bear is the fact of the horror show, and the fact of the difficulties of our day-to-day. Then the Feast of Offal, which is all the waste and the byproduct of our intemperate living. When we get upset and throw that upset out into the world. And then the principle of distraction. We spend our lives distracting ourselves so that we don't have to see the next principle, the thing in the next, that is the object of the next principle, the great indifference. The great indifference is the the nothing evidence that God doesn't exist. We don't want to see that nothing. So we distract ourselves all of our lives with our work and our play and our home and our hobbies and our TV and our church and our God, so that we don't have to face down the fact that we're alone. Then comes the best seat in the house, to not want to be anywhere else, or be doing anything else, but to be okay with who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing. And then after that comes, this is where I've got one new. It's not in this book. I have to remember it. The Restless Man. Yeah, we're restless. We want something else, something different. I think this is one of the ones I keep forgetting. We want something different. We want to. Johnson, I just discovered his second Rambler in the Rambler series that he wrote in 1750 deals with this in a tangential way. We want something different. We're restless. Not all of us, but most of us to a greater or lesser degree. And I think it's part and parcel of our species, particularly for men. I want to set out over the next mountain to explore what's over there, what resources can be found, and what adventures to be had. It's what motivates our species to move on, to go new places and do new things. And that pushes us onto what I call the Path of Wildness, which is the next principle. It's easy to find. It's the course of a stream, leaves blown in the wind, a beast's track through the brush, in the direction of our first inclination. The Path of Wildness is where we go when we want to head off into a new life and have a new great life adventure, which is the next principle. See how I set those up? I did that deliberately. The Restless Man, the Path of Wildness, and the Great Life Adventure. The Great Life Adventure is one or more keystone experiences in life that really do help to form the story of our life and become part and parcel of our character. Really recommend having a Great Life Adventure in our youth. Mostly because it's hard to have a Great Life Adventure later. It's a more sedate, impotent, that's a good word for that, sterile experience to try to have a Great Life Adventure when you're my age, in your 60s. I mean, it's not so hard once you're practiced, but it's really hard if you haven't practiced. I mean, even if you have, it's hard. I know that I can't have the adventures that I had in my youth. One really interesting reason is because I'm smarter than I was then. Part of the value that came of those early Great Life Adventures were the fact that I was so dumb and I would make so many mistakes, which were the most instructive part sometimes of the adventures themselves. And I won't make those mistakes again necessarily. So have that adventure in your 20s, after university and before settling down with a career and a family. The next comes the risk of avoiding risk. There's the deep level and the surface level risks of life. The deep level risk is the risk of not attending to finding ourselves, to making our character through a Great Life Adventure. And then the surface level risks are the safe and sane of life, the education, the career, the home and family, the spouse, the home and family, and then the saving for our old age and retirement so that we can enjoy some peace in our latter years. It's hard to do both. It's hard to attend to the deep stuff and go for the surface stuff. I mean, when I call it surface, it doesn't mean it's easy necessarily, but I just mean that it's sanctioned. It's what people expect you to do. Nobody in society or family is going to object to you necessarily to going to school or getting a good job or marrying someone good or having a family and buying a house and having a good career and saving for retirement. Everyone's going to encourage you. All of the social institutions are going to encourage you. You might get some eyebrows lifted, though, if you tell people you want to go live in Polynesia for a year and bum around the islands when you're 26, just after university. In all cases, go to university. That's a given. And if you didn't, that's okay too. But it's a real heads up to go. It's really worthwhile. It broadens things, and I'm not talking about your earning potential, your bottom line, although it does impact that as well. I'm talking about the top line. Could Could that be something interesting? The top line. The top line is what you're investing in. It's not the bottom line. The top line. Gonna have to explore that idea. Put that in my pocket too. Oh boy, what did I just do? Okay, it's good. Okay, so that was the risk of avoiding risk, and next comes sin and damnation. We are damned when we sin, and sin. I don't believe in God or heaven or afterlife or anything like that, but I do believe in that we can sin against well-being, and these sins take the form of believing things that are untrue, being untrue, and gossiping. I hate gossip. It's such a destructive thing. So categorically, or itemize them, there are 7 sins. They are falsity, being untrue; credulity, believing things too readily; faith, belief that's founded upon belief. That's circular. Superstition, belief that is categorically identified as nonsense. Dogma, which is belief based on tradition and the weight of time. Authority, belief based on not being impressed by someone's office or outfit or funny hat. And gossip, talking about others behind their back. And we know we're gossiping when we are talking about someone in such a way that if we found that they were standing right behind us suddenly, we would be embarrassed to hear that, that they overheard what we said. Shame on us. Don't do that. I don't want to do that. Okay, next is, that was sin and damnation. Next comes complete oblivion. When we're dead, we're not going to, if there is no God, there is no heaven, there is no afterlife. We have no soul. And I can't prove these things, but I take them as axiomatic truths in my life. I've adopted them based on just the weight of experience and the fact that I've tried all my life to uncover if such propositions are true, and none of them can seem to carry any water. So I operate that way. What the consequence of that means is that after I'm dead, I'll not see my loved ones again. There'll be no reunion. I'll not have no chance, since I can't see them again, I'll have no chance to reconcile our differences, so no final reconciliation, and there'll be no justice served, because one, there appears to be no justice giver, and there will be no afterlife in which to see justice found. So complete oblivion means we better take care of our relationships, our people, our connections, our relationships, and the administration of right through normal means, right? No vigilantism while we have this one chance. Next comes the season of philosophy. That's a time of life to be ready to record, whatever the muse might have to say. The muse being that little voice of conspirital suggestion. I call it conspirital because it's like when all of the best parts of our well-being come together and say, "I've got an idea," and they suggest that idea. I keep a pen and paper ready. I keep a desk over there. I use it for shipping too. Well, I did before when I was sending out all those free books, but I use it now to write in my journal. Or I simply type it out and set it off on a social media post. Season of philosophy. Watch out. It comes, and it's more likely to come the more rich and diverse our life is, the more great life adventures we give ourselves. But when it comes, it passes too, in a moment. The muse doesn't stick around. The bullseye aim is shooting for the mark and usually missing. It's a remembrance to do that. It's a remembrance that we're going to miss the mark. And I use this one all the time at work, when I almost do something just 100% and maybe it came out 90%. And I remember, bullseye aim. If I was throwing darts at a dartboard, am I going to get upset that I didn't hit the bullseye every time? No, I'm not going to expect that, nor will I expect that of life in general. The uphill climb is just a reminder. It's like climbing Mount Fuji. Every day, a step. It's just the summit seems to recede forever, but you just keep on going and stop and look around. And the trick is not to stop and let any roots set down, right? Just to keep on climbing those higher vistas, those more refined air, that bluer sky, day by day. Arena and utility is next. Life is an arena for the development of our principles that we can use to live a better life. And then nothing is enough, second to the last. A reminder that there's something to not having things that is freeing. We distract ourselves. It's easy to buy stuff to distract ourselves. It's the cheap way out, although it's not cheap at all. It's expensive. It's the easy way out is a better way to put it. Finding satisfaction in nothing, though, is a little bit more challenging because we have to then find that place to reside here. But it's a really worthwhile thing to do, and I'm about to do that again. Both Yumiko and I are about to do that again as we begin to dismantle our current life, to tear it down to a suitcase each, just as we've done the last 4 times that Yumiko and I have, hit the reset button on life, and we just tear our whole lives down to just a suitcase each, and go off and have a new life. And we're about to do that again in the next 3 to 5 years. Maybe hopefully 2 years for Yumiko. She'll go first. She'll lead the way this time. I led it last time. It's her turn. Then the last one is the principle of fun, a reminder to have fun in the moment of now, as well as fun remembering the past, and then fun anticipating the future. So there's my Good Life Creed for today, the 32 principles and 7 objectives. The next thing to do is to think about the plan for today. For today, I'm going to be doing, after I do this, I'll upload this video. I'm going to make another quick video. I'm going to read Dr. Johnson's his first Rambler essay. Then I'm going to go over, I'll read my Bible. I'm in Ezekiel. I think I'm in Ezekiel like 16 or something like that. And then I'll feed the dogs, walk the dogs, and then begin my day in earnest. It's a Friday on, so I'm working today. I have 2 things I mainly want to do at work. I want to do status reports in the afternoon, and then in the morning, maybe 3 things I want to do. In the morning, I want to work to go over one of the projects, work breakdown structure to make sure everything's in good shape. I need a clear block of about 4 hours to really just focus on that. No distractions. And today, I only have 1 meeting today. Today's the day I can do that. I also would like to finish off a closure report for a project I finished, or is basically winding down right now. That's my plan. That's my day. I wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. It's good to feel good again. Yeah, get off that damn meds. Surgery 1 week out. It took about a week. Hopefully this will last. See you later.